Welcome back to Morning Joy, where truth matters. I'm your host, Keith Downey, and this morning on The Next Right Thing with Debbie Georgianni and Adam Blai, we're doing things just a little bit differently because, well, this whole week is the anniversary week, the very first anniversary week of Morning Joy. And, well, they've chosen to interview me, the host here, and I have no idea what's going to be happening here. But without further ado, good morning and happy anniversary to you both. Day two, Debbie and Adam.
Back at you, Keith. Good morning. And yes, we have questions we want to ask, and you have not received them ahead of time. So anything that you are like not prepared to answer, or you are unwilling to answer, please just tell us.
I'll plead the fifth.
Well, we have just a long list of, no, I'm just teasing. We have a few questions just to get to know you better. And we just thought it would be fun for anniversary week. So we thought we'd turn the tables pretty much on everyone, all the segment hosts, and ask them questions. So Morning Joy, that's part of a journeying together each and every weekday. So Adam, this is very exciting during anniversary week. Do you want to begin?
Sure. So, Keith, I think at the beginning of our work on this project, people had heard that you had some background in acting, and so you had done some work with performance in your life. I'm assuming you've not done radio before this. Is that right?
That's right. Now that I have experience under my belt, 1 year. Before that, I had zero experience in radio.
Right. So my question is, what have you kind of learned from this, either like intellectually about the faith, or a life skill, or a realization about radio? What have you learned from doing this for a year that you wish other people could also get?
What I really like, what you've said this a couple of times, Adam, and I always laugh at it because it's so true. If you get a chance to host your own radio show, do it, because you're going to learn so much more about the faith than you'll ever have thought of. I like how I always say that. But it has been such an incredible experience, not only to hear all of the great contributors that bring what they have, their specialty, to the table, to help provide that vibe of truth and joy for everybody's morning, right? We're all on that path, that highway towards holiness, really it's inspired by, and Debbie can probably back this up, inspired by soon-to-be Saint Carlo Acutis, which is just so incredible, and I'm sure we'll probably get to this, like how he brought us all together, but just thinking about all of the guests, the wonderful guests, every single one of them has brought something different and unique to help get us to that path towards holiness. And one thing that I've learned over the course of the year, especially from our guests, is that one of the most important things to have, like as a Catholic, or probably as a Christian really, is to have a consistent prayer life. Like without having a consistent prayer life, like you're going to be lost. So that's something that I've learned deeply. And of course, there's all sorts of aspects of our Catholic faith that, especially listening to you, Debbie and Adam, I've learned so much. And I'm sure everybody who's been listening over the course of the entire year, I've learned something new. I know for that for sure.
Wow. Well, thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Deb.
Yeah, that's amazing. So let's get to Blessed Carlo Acutis, soon to be Saint Carlo Acutis, April 27th. So we do feel that he was instrumental in bringing this all together for so many reasons, and we could actually probably write a book on how this all started and how everything lined up so perfectly. But maybe share a little bit about the movie that you were involved in, that's going to be premiering this year. I guess it's right. I hope it's this year.
Yeah, that's kind of what's from what I've heard. So the film is called The New Manna. It's a cinematic journey through live action that preserves biblical texts in an engaging way. So what they've done is, and it's kind of, hard to kind of explain it. Would probably the best way to explain it is that it kind of takes place in present time, where there's someone who's kind of not really sure about the Catholic faith, and so it's going on this journey. There's a lot of great interviews with a lot of names everybody's familiar with, and then of course there's biblical reenactments that are very true to the Bible and as far as like what we have in our Catholic faith. So we're talking scenes like the Last Supper that is very much done in a Catholic manner. I don't think it's ever been done before in this manner.
Wow.
And then, of course, you have the scene with John the Baptist, who I was so graciously asked to play as. So I got to grow my beard, and my beard, by the way, was the longest I've ever grown it out. I'll never do that again. But yeah, it was such an incredible experience. Typically previously, I would be going to auditions for commercials, and they would be very light comedic. That was kind of my bread and butter, was doing comedic roles. So to do something so drastically different, right, going from a Taco Time or a Volkswagen commercial to John the Baptist is quite a jump, and it was a very challenging but very edifying experience that I don't think I could ever replicate.
I saw part of the trailer. I don't know if you saw the trailer, Adam, but the trailer, and it referenced Carlo Acutis. So was he? That was all because of the Eucharist, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So, and I think there's even an interview with his mother in that.
That's what I
could be
thought.
wrong,
Okay.
but yeah, very much inspired by soon-to-be Saint Carlo Acutis, and yeah, that's just that whole theme was kind of how kind of we were all brought together. I honestly, right?
Oh yeah, it's truly amazing how he was instrumental, Adam. And we talk a lot about the saints interceding for us and becoming our friends, and we really feel like Blessed Carlo is really watching out for the show in so many ways, and that's just incredible. But Adam, I don't know if you I don't know if you knew this before. Did you know that Keith's father was in radio?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. So tell us, Keith. Can you share anything about your dad?
Yeah, so it's kind of funny because once again I never thought I was going to be in radio, but here I am. It's now kind of part of the family. So yeah, my father was in radio for quite a bit. I can't remember the exact time frame, but yeah, he was on talk radio, news radio, in the Phoenix area, Phoenix metropolitan area, and eventually transitioned over to television. So he became a news anchor for the local CBS affiliate in Phoenix, which is, they actually just celebrated, I think, their 75th anniversary. And he was interviewed by the people that are there now. And it was really funny because he was sharing a story about how nobody had experienced back in the day in the Phoenix area of being on television, being a news anchor. So he had zero experience of being on television, which is so like kind of similar to like my trajectory. Like I had zero experience in radio, but I had like a background in something that could that was very much similar, but not exactly. So it was kind of funny how when I saw that interview, it was very similar.
Did he give you any advice?
He did. He gave me some initial advice. Yeah, I can't remember exactly what it was anymore. Because it's been so long. I mean, it's been 1 year.
1 year, I know, a long time. Isn't that cool, Adam?
Yeah. So Keith, how did you get into acting? Like, what was the draw for you, or did you fall into it? Did God kind of grab you and you just found yourself doing it, or what happened?
So it all began. I went to a Catholic high school in Phoenix, St. Mary's to be exact, and there was a musical that people were, they were trying to get people to audition for. And there was a senior. She came in and was like, "Hey, you guys should all try out for this play." And I was like, "Wow, she's really beautiful." And that was kind of like my shoe-in. And then she told me that she was like a brother to me. And then I'm like, "Okay, but this is actually really fun to do. This whole like theater acting thing is really fun." And so then that just kind of pulled me in that manner. Was in a bunch of theater stuff at school. Got into the drama club. And then that, once college time came, I didn't know what to do. The only thing I knew how to do was to perform. And so that's when I made my way over to Arizona State University and focused on theater with a focus on acting.
Neat. I have one question that has kind of two parts, so maybe it'll go over the break, I don't know, into our final segment. But now that we've gone a year, and I know this is unfair because I wouldn't know how to answer this question if somebody asked me.
Good question, Adam. Go ahead and ask
so
it.
I'm going to burden you with it. a year from now, where would you hope that we would be, that this show would be, given that, what you've seen so far? What would be like the ideal pie in the sky, what it has become? Like, I don't know, different high-powered guests, or growing into scripture studies, or getting lighter and more comedic, or getting more serious. Like if you were kind of had the wheel for a year, how would you design a Catholic morning radio show?
Wow, that's a really great question. One of the really cool things that I've noticed over the course of the year is how much of this production is almost a living organism itself. Like it's always changing, but like it's slow to change, right? So kind of reminds me of the Catholic Church in that regards. Like we're never quick to make any sort of changes, but like for instance, over the course of time, we had a guest every single weekday, but now we're blessed to have Steve Ray have a specific segment during that time on Mondays, and then now, of course, continuing after this week, we're doing a Friday segment specific to kind of unpacking the news over the course of the week. So there's just, I love those changes. The changes that we've done have been so great. If I were in the wheel, so to speak, my goodness, I think it would be really fun to take Morning Joy on the road to
I knew it.
maybe to some conferences,
Yeah.
maybe to the Vatican. I don't know. That would be really kind of fun.
Well, we kind of tossed that idea around. Remember, a couple months ago, we thought it would be really interesting, Adam, to take Morning Joy on location to these various events, these big events like Seek and that just happened, and other great conferences, and do the show live right there on location. But it's a huge production as it is right now, and the thought of doing that is like, wow, that would be a lot. But it would be fun for the listeners, So that's, I agree with you, Keith. That would be exciting. What do you think, Adam? That's the first time we've ever shared that with Adam.
Yeah, I mean, Deb and I have done kind of just a couple times, right? Kind of a live event where we're on the air, but we're also with a couple hundred people in person, at a conference kind of thing. And, Keith, that is really cool. It's really, really interesting. I always love meeting people in person myself, but I know we're up against the break. Maybe we could, share a little bit more about that on the other side.
Okay, so let's hit the pause button, Keith, if you've got some announcements for us, and then we'll come back with the second part of interviewing you.
Absolutely. Awesome. And real quick announcement. The second annual GRN San Angelo Fishers of Men benefit dinner is on Thursday, February 27th. It's from 6:30 to 9 p.m. So if you're in the West Texas area, this shout out is for you. Just make sure to go to grnonline.com/San Angelo 2025. And we'll be right back on Morning Joy, where truth matters.
You're listening to Morning Joy, where truth matters.
Where truth matters. I'm your host, Keith Downey, and on the final segment here this morning of The Next Right Thing, we're continuing the conversation every single day this week. Well, obviously, it's the anniversary week of Morning Joy, where truth matters, and we're talking to some of the great contributors here on Morning Joy. And of course, today I'm in the hot seat, so I get to be interviewed by Debbie Georgianni and Adam Blai. So this has been fun.
We hope it's been fun. Okay, so we mentioned your dad being in radio, so I think it's only fair to absolutely give credit to your mom. Your mom commented yesterday on YouTube wishing a congratulations and happy anniversary. Would you like to share any kind thoughts about your mother?
Oh, yeah. I mean, my mom has been kind of like the cornerstone of just like being my number one fan, I think.
Oh, that's
so, no,
wonderful.
it's just very supportive, like, in everything that I've done. And both of my parents have, really. But, it's they're like both of them and my mother have been incredible in building the foundation of my Catholic faith. Like, if it wasn't for them and making sure to put the focus on the Catholic faith above everything, I probably wouldn't be here. I probably wouldn't be on Morning Joy. So a testament to making sure to, especially if there's young parents out there, to really put a focus on your Catholic faith.
Yeah, well, Adam always talks about honoring your father and mother, the commandments, and so you're doing that so beautifully, Keith. So wait, Adam, I have to ask these questions because we want to make sure that our listeners get to know Keith and his family better. So, Keith, are you a only child? Do you have siblings? And are you if you're not the only child, are you the favorite child?
I refuse to answer that one. I'll plead the fifth on that one. I have an older sister, and she's also incredible. And it's really nice to see too, because she's also a practicing Catholic. So it's nice to be able to have that connection with her as well.
Very cool. Okay, and so Adam, you're going to get a kick out of this. And Keith, I hope you feel comfortable to share this. So can you share with us how you met Danielle?
Oh yeah, so Danielle's my wife. She's also very much a cornerstone of our family. So there was a time where I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. And I was like, well, I know I do want to be like a husband. I want to be a father, but I just don't know where to look. I didn't have many options at the parish that I was attending. And so I thought, well, maybe I'll check online. So I went to catholicmatch.com, and I was not having much luck whatsoever. For those out there, that maybe have never used it before, really what ends up happening is that, especially if you're in a smaller town or city and you're trying to look for people, they're usually like 800 miles away, and you're like, do I really want to move for somebody that I don't really know? I don't know. And so I canceled my subscription. I was like, okay, I'm done. I'll figure this out later. And then they charged me. They charged me after I canceled it. And so I emailed them like, hey, I canceled and you charged me again. Can you please refund me, please? And they emailed back very promptly saying, oh, we are so sorry. We've refunded you, but we also gave you 6 months free due to the trouble. And I'm like, okay, like I'm going to go back. I didn't have any luck this time, so like I'm going to go back, whatever. And then like a month later, I was like, well, maybe I'll go back on there and check things out. And the first person that I came across was my wife, Danielle.
Your future wife, yeah.
My future wife, yeah.
Wasn't that amazing, Adam?
Yeah,
Catholic Match, yeah. We should have them on the show. That would be hilarious.
That would be great.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, Adam's got like the final question.
Okay. So let's get a little spiritual.
Okay.
If you were to tell us a few of the things in your life, a few of the moments that Jesus has given you spiritually that have stayed with you, that you're the most grateful for, what would a few of those be?
Well, the one that immediately comes to mind is, and I think we've all experienced this in one manner, was to never take for granted the Eucharist. And I totally did, especially right at like as soon as we got to the COVID, where all the churches shut down, and a lot of us didn't have access to the Eucharist for quite some time. I didn't realize how badly I needed Jesus. Like it never occurred to me, and I always took it for granted. And that's stuck with me ever since. Now, every time I go to Holy Communion, I've taken it so much more seriously, more than I ever have before. And it's been such a blessing ever since that first time back at Mass, after the lockdowns kind of were opening back up for all the churches. My goodness, that was one of the most, kind of emotional times that I've had at Mass. So I'd say that would probably be my answer there on that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how about a fun one as we get towards the end of this segment?
Okay.
Now, I have to explain we're all in different states, to some extent spread across the country, and through the magic of technology, we're able to be together virtually.
Mm-hmm.
I am beset upon, and I have to get up at 5:30 in the morning every morning when we do the show, and I wanted to know, how early do you have to get up in the morning?
Well, there's two times that I will get up because if anybody out there doesn't know, Arizona is one of I think 2 states in the entire country that does not follow the time change. Like we are at the same time all year, every single year. But when it comes to making sure we're with the rest of the states, so like for instance, this time period before March. I forgot what exact date we changed times again, but sometime in March. But right now, I get up, a little bit later. So I get up around 3:30 a.m. Give or take. When the time changes, though, I typically get up at like around 2:45, and the best part that I just find humorous. So right now, my phone, when it wakes me up, my alarm, my iPhone says "Good morning." I'm like, okay, thank you. But when I'm waking,
of the night.
yeah, I know. Well, that's the thing. When it comes to the time change, when I'm getting up like around 2:45, it says "Good evening," and that's like a slap in the face. Like, yeah, I know. Okay.
And you have 2 small children, so are they up too?
No, although sometimes my 4-year-old will wake up, and God bless my wife, where she has to kind of juggle the baby and then the toddler at the same time at 4 in the morning. God bless them.
Keith has 2 beautiful girls. They are wonderful, beautiful family.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah. But Adam, we chuckle because Keith and I are both in Arizona, and we do consider Arizona the lighthouse of the nation because we never change our time. But I've said to Keith probably at least a dozen times, I said, Keith, I'm able to do it in the middle of the night getting up for the show because I know that in Tucson, Arizona, you're getting up at the same time. At least there's 2 of us in Arizona who are getting up in the middle of the night.
That's right.
Well, I'm staying on the East Coast. I'm telling you, I'm not getting up at 2:45. Please, I'll do it, Lord, if you want me to, but please no. Let this cup pass.
But hasn't this been fun? It's been great because I think if we're gonna journey together every single day with each other, every weekday, it's so important that we get to know each other just a little bit better because I do believe that this was this whole week it's important for us to know the hosts and to just feel close to them. But I have to tell you, Keith, you are just, in my opinion, my humble opinion, I think you're just the perfect host for us. And thank you so much. I think you got a great disposition, a great sense of humor, and you're just great for us getting our day started in a joy-filled way. What do you say, Adam, real quickly?
Yeah, and I think we all grow doing this. It's inevitable, right? It's a new thing. It's new for me. I know Deb's more experienced, of course. She's a professional, and I'm the swabby on the boat, I always say, and she's the captain. But Keith, I've seen you grow in this work, and I've seen you get more comfortable and confident, and I'm happy for you that God is using you in this way because I know I learn a ton, and I'm sure you've learned a ton, but you're also getting neat skills. Yeah. And who knows what Jesus' plan is for your life, the long-term plans. And I hope that this, whether you do it for the rest of your life or do it for 5 or 10 more years, that it be a wonderful and fruitful time that gives you things that are, really part of your journey and that you build on. So I'm grateful that you're here, and I appreciate you.
Wow, thank you so much for the kind words. Probably going to have to pray the litany of humility after this one, but I appreciate you both, Debbie and Adam, so much. Hey, make sure to catch them on the Spirit World this coming Saturday, 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern. You can also catch them on all the Spotify, the Apple Podcasts, wherever you can find that. But hey, coming up, we're going to be taking a quick break, talking with Dave Palmer about Jesus as a philosopher.
You're listening to Morning Joy, where truth matters.